almost 30 years of getting along with every program.
Yeah. You're about to order double, and then oh my God. But I thought to myself, here it comes again. Here it comes again. He's better hitting than not. All of the stats. But what makes him that much more special is when he's going to hit like this next year. And he's going to pitch like Gary Cole. Oh, okay. Or he's not going to be as good at hitting. He's pitching. What? Focus on one. What? Why import and export when you can just focus on one? But why can't he be getting better at hitting? Why can't he just be he's still getting better? Why? Oh, because he's not pitching every fifth day. He can now leave the yard easy. I won't buy it. And certainly if I bought him as a Dodger front office executive for a $700 million contract, and I'm going to start paying him annual payments of $50 million a year when he's no longer playing for me, I'm going to get my money's worth when he's still can do it
weekend.
and put him on a mound every fifth day until he says I can't do it.
So I think they're on.
Because he says I don't want to pitch anymore. Is he practicing?
So I get in.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can go there on Thursday. By the way, what a great question to ask Dave Roberts.
And I get a text from Ray.
When's the time you start
right away like I do every week. What my future is.
So of course Sean Mitchell's like, hey,
every time I just cut his tweet, it's
of
out.
the home runs with the
He
longest.
sends me
He's really into the subject matter.
blah blah blah.
It's made me feel better.
I go,
About feats of strength, that's the number of
Little
feet.
Mermaid. I said they don't own my Twitter, which they don't. I control my
There
Twitter.
is a Jorge
So
Soler
he gets back to me. Hey,
with
come
an
here,
even longer
man.
home run in course field last night, but that counts as
It's not the point. I'm not gonna just have something.
By the way,
Blah,
the
blah,
fact
blah.
that Ohtani
And he goes,
hit a
I
home
didn't
run
sign up for
only
that.
3 feet
Well,
over
really, you didn't sign up
in
for what?
altitude.
You're kicking ass for all your clients for the year.
By the way,
all of them.
the one that John Chad in Yankee Stadium
I'm
was
gonna call
using
Matt
for
and
his
go, please do.
also.
And remind Matt that he might get a
Mike
tweet
John
from
Hudson
us.
does best.
It's the last I've heard.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. All right.
Yeah, what's happening? Here we go. Top 10 games, huh, Bobby? We're in the 10? Okay. So we're doing 10A? Yep. Yep. How's everyone doing, man? I'm back from San Diego. Cisco went to Del Mar. Opening day at the racetrack. Golfed 18 holes a few times. Saw my friends. Came back last night. Feel a little bit refreshed. And now tomorrow I'm going to drive 5 hours. Hopefully it's not 5 to Costa Mesa for Raider training camp. And be out there this week and next week. Wanted to have my car out there, man. Didn't want to drop like 4,000 in Ubers. So I'm going to go do that. And that's it, man. Hope everyone's having a good rest of the summer. I'll tell you, it was good to get the hell out of here at Vegas. It was nice to get the hell out of here. Also, Cisco, I got my Raider season tickets. It was great to see Black Hole Rob, Raider Gloria, Violator, Gorilla Rilla. Everybody who was up there on the tickets. I collect that. I have every box every year. That was really great. What else happened? What I miss? What did I miss here, Bobby? It was just hot as hell, as always. Just
Did a bunch of games. We got their ass kicked by Salt Lake City.
did they?
Got all that sound. They're going to do the first game. They're going to do that tomorrow.
Right.
About it.
My Yankees mug today. They are not playing well. Cisco, I need your best players on the A's to come to my Yankees for the stretch run. We'll give you whatever you want.
My entire family can head deep into the wild. Conquer the weekend in the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 560.
All right. As I always say to the early people that get in the show early, what do you want to talk about? I got an idea what I want to talk about Let me know what you want to talk about. Is there any topic that you want in the monologue that I can cover on? I appreciate that. What do you guys think of Devonte and all this talking going on Shannon Sharp's podcast and everything? I mean, it's all about the Netflix series. Anybody have an opinion on that? Bobby, every live read from here on out is going to include training camp. And I want to kind of put a little journal together and write down the ones we do so we know we're done. We're going to do most of them from there. So just a sheet that me and you work with every day and just say, hey, this is what we're doing. Yep.
So just so I know this is going to be me writing down what the sponsors are. On a
Yeah, this
basis.
is Andrew printing out what we're going to do, all of them, and us just putting a check next to every time we do one. Whatever.
Make sure you send this to Gmail.
Yeah. To your Gmail?
Yeah. I'm able to get into LB Radio for about a month.
Okay. That's an issue, huh?
Not for me.
So it's just your name, right?
Bobby the Machado at Gmail. Same thing I send your.
Does he have that already?
Huh?
Has he used?
I don't know if he does or doesn't. He should.
And one more time, it's Bobby.
Bobby the Machado.
Bobby in one word?
Yeah.
No
Bobby
dots?
Machado, THE Machado at Gmail.
Representative came and we discussed what we wanted done. And this time we had the roof done as well.
I've never heard the Machado. I like that. Raul, hypothetical. Say we trade to the Jazz. I'm not doing hypotheticals on trading Devonte in July. So that didn't work out well. I'm not doing hypotheticals on Devonte's 2 number 1s and a 3 or a 2. If we trade Devonte, we give up the whole season. That means it's July, right? I'm not relevant until a year from now in September. I can't do that. I can't put a year of my life on hold to get 1s and 2s. This is my 27th season. I'm going now. I'm in now to win. I'm not waiting till next September. Do you know how long this this off season was from January? And it's even long in July, man. It's dead right now. By trading away our best player for 1s or whatever, that does me no good. If they do it, I'll deal with it and I'll handle it. But that's not what I want to do. Look at Cisco. If the Jets miss the playoffs, we could get Rodgers.
Joe Montana's still going.
And I mentioned the fact. So literally, I was the first person. I swear, I'm not talking one of the first person. I got up. What was it? Yeah, I got up Sunday pretty early with my buddies after a late night. And I look at my phone and I see Biden dropped out. And I looked at it and nobody had it. So then I quickly looked at Fox. I went to CNN. They didn't have it. Then I turned on the TV and they didn't have it. So I retweeted it. And then my phone exploded for 24 hours. I got to get my voice going.
The Brick Show, where the Raider Nation has come to sound off and react for over 20 years.
It's time for JT the Brick.
You want a conspiracy theory? I'll give you one. There's no way you can sit in the boardroom on Park Avenue where NFL headquarters are and say the Raiders are going to open up with 2 on the road against the Harbaugh brothers. What are the odds of that? You're giving us the Atlanta game on Monday Night Football at the end of December. Thanks. Really appreciate that. Now, what you want to thank you, Roger? You think this scoffed and mocked us. Like, you're nothing. We're nothing.
JT the Brick.
I'm defending the Raiders. You should be defending the Raiders. Very simple. Make the Raider Nation stand up, sound off like you got a pair. It's your time now to be heard. You got a flagship station that isn't compromised up north with a baseball team going out of business and another San Francisco football team and hosts that are in the pocket. You got me at the front gates of the Raider Nation trying to help you have a voice on this. So let's roll.
And now,
Raider Nation unite.
here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, back from San Diego, Del Mar, California, opening day at the racetrack. A couple of good days of clear, cooler weather, beach, golf, and here it is. The end, not the end of the summer. It's the middle of the summer, but I don't have like most of yous guys, as they say. I don't have a trip. My wife says every day everyone's in Europe. Look, everyone's on vacation. Well, we take a couple of little nibbles of vacation here in the summer, but it's go time. Tomorrow I'll be in Costa Mesa, California for Raiders training camp. So this is the last show from this studio for a week, and then I'm going to come back every Sunday, Monday, do my Sirius XM show, go out to Costa Mesa again, and I'm very optimistic about this trip, very optimistic about this training camp, because no one in the NFL is optimistic about the Raiders. So let that sink in for a second, what I just said, because that could be the theme of the summer, while we're also counting down the top 10 games of all time, and today we start at 10. So today's a big day for us. A lot of work went into this. But the theme of the summer is going to be no one believes. That's going to be the theme. No one believes other than the Raider Nation, the Raider players, and the organization. They believe. I don't know anybody, and I'm serious. I don't know anybody walking around Henderson or Costa Mesa saying, man, this is going to be a bad year. Coming off 8 wins last year and a better roster. So everybody's pretty optimistic. But for whatever reason it is, and there's multiple reasons, the national media is not even paying attention to the Raiders unless Devonte's in a documentary and Devonte's on a road trip tour, sitting down with a lot of people talking about Netflix receivers. Other than that, as I told you, it's one of the quietest off seasons that I can recall in modern Raider history. That includes the era of the history of the Raiders. They've been around 65 years. This is the 65th season. Before that, there was no internet. There were no cell phones. There was no social media. So if you just look the last 20 plus years or so, this is very quiet. There's not a lot of noise. It's very quiet, and people are looking for things to talk about with the Raiders. So the national media, a lot of the national media know the Raiders. There's even some members of the Raider Nation. We're fortunate to have Rich Eisen lead into this show, his national show. He's very Raider friendly. He is. He likes the Raiders. He spent his whole career in Canton, Ohio at the Hall of Fame. So he's seen all the Raiders come through the Hall of Fame, and he knows them. So Rich Eisen's one of the guys out there that, gives the Raiders the respect they deserve. Not many other people do that. And what happens is if there's nothing to talk about, what they'll do, the national media, is when they get to the Raiders, they'll just say something negative. If there's nothing to talk about, say with the Cowboys get a lot of negativity too. They do, because they haven't won in a long time. I mean, they've been on a drought. But other teams, as I pointed out to you, Sean Payton and the Broncos, the Chargers, there's nothing good to say about those teams. Nothing. There really is nothing to say. Raiders had a better record than both their teams by a lot. And they find something positive to say about those teams. Well, Jim Harbaugh's back. Oh, man, they're going to be great. Excuse me, why? Oh, Jim Harbaugh's there. Oh, I agree with you. Jim Harbaugh is a very good coach. Very good coach. Oh, Sean Payton won 1 Super Bowl. 1. Tom Flores won 2. Sean Payton's won 1, and everyone's like automatically believes that he just shows up on the new sod and grass in Denver and it's a Super Bowl run. They lost all their players. They just have draft picks. But they find something positive to say. So I'm going to go out to Costa Mesa with an open mind. I'm just going to see what I see and report back to you. That's what I do. I tell you what I see, and I give you an open forum. Most radio shows don't give open forums anymore. There's radio shows here in Vegas that have like 6 people on their shows and don't even let you talk. I mean, I think I'm an open forum, whatever you want to say, as long as it's respectful. You don't make it personal about the owner or the coach. If you just keep it between these lines, you have your own radio show. This is your radio show that's hosted by me. And you can talk about whatever you want. Now, in July, I don't like to talk about quarterback controversies. I don't think it benefits anyone. I call it filler. I try not to do filler. That's why I come up with the top 10 games of all time. It's kind of soft filler because it's good content, right? You hear Kurt Gowdy, Bill King. You go through the list and you hear about all these great games. I think that at least it's filler that we actually have to work our ass off to do for you. It's not like a Mount Rushmore list or some of these other guys on Fox coming up with their top 10 every day. I mean, we like to at least look ourselves in the mirror and think we're showing up to do something. You know, if I did the show once a week and it was a podcast, I'd have 10 topics and I'd kill an hour and a half. I got to do this thing every day. So we try to get you to the start of the season. So before we get into our top 10 games of all time, we're at number 10. Just want to share a couple things with you on what my belief is going to be for the next 3 weeks or month. But I'll go 3 weeks because we're going to have a little bye week before the start of the season. And just a little bit, a week before the games start. But over the next month, I think this is going to be critical. So I want everybody to listen to me, please, and understand what I believe should happen here. And I don't know if it's going to happen or not because no one's told me this, and I'm going to see it when I get there tomorrow. I believe this camp needs to be more physical. Okay? I believe this camp needs to be more physical. They don't have many physical days. They all work out. They all bench press. They all run. They all had private trainers. This thing has got to be amped up, period, amped up. There's got to be more energy, more juice, because they open up with 2 games that could define the season. It could. 0-2 would be devastating. 1-1 would be really good. 2-0 is on the high end of dreaming. It could happen. But the start of the season is critical. So let's make it more amped up. Make it more physical. And the league is not going to let them be physical. The league's not going to give them padded practice days. There's no 2-a-days. There's no, there's no water break. You got to wait until the whistle. This is different, the world we're living in now. But when they're on the field and they're in pads and they're able to go, they got to be big. They got to get more reps in. They got to get everything down. It's got to be precise and it's got to be physical, number 1. Number 2, very important. Luke Getsy in the offense has got to figure this out now, okay? Last year, Josh McDaniels, who all time in the 100-plus year history of this league, has one of the greatest track records all time when it comes to offense. That's not a debate. I don't care that you hate that coach. I could care less. It's a fact. He's won all those Super Bowls with that offense and Tom Brady and Gronk and everyone they had, Randy Moss. They were efficient. They were amazing. They won championship after championship. Well, I was led to believe, and again, I fell on the sword for that. Believe me, look at my Twitter, that they would have been more dialed in. But what hurt the Raiders last year was the injury to Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think signing him was a mistake, a catastrophic mistake. Jimmy was a good player. He really was. Respected by his teammates in San Francisco, New England, understood the playbook. Let's not forget that. Understood the playbook. He was just injured and never got going. And once he never got going, you could see the rust on Jimmy. If you've been watching Netflix receivers, the rust on him lasted way too long until he was benched. Well, not a lot of people had that. A lot of you guys thought he'd get hurt. You thought he'd get hurt. That's fair with that. But, the playbook, the knowledge, all of that, Jimmy Garoppolo did not live up to expectations. And that's a bummer because if he did, he would be the quarterback here right now. And he's still pretty young and pretty good, but that thing is gone. And Aiden O'Connell ended up getting the starts, and I thought played pretty well. Then the Raiders signed Gardner Minshew and gave him decent money. If you've been watching Hard Knocks with the Giants and they were looking at the quarterbacks, they respected Gardner Minshew. The Giants did. They were looking at him. The price was a higher price than some of the other quarterbacks out there. So with all that being said, the Raider offense last year couldn't get anything going until Josh McDaniels got fired and the Raiders broke the all-time record with 63 points against the Chargers. Whatever Luke Getsy does, and I don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to want to run it? Is he going to be tight end heavy? It's going to be 12 personnel. Devonte's out there. Believe me, Devonte, you got to be living under a rock, man, if you don't think Devonte wants the ball this year. I can tell you that. You got to be living under a rock if you don't think Devonte wants the football starting right now. If you watch Netflix, even though a lot of people don't realize that was filmed last season, there are some dopes who think the thing was filmed a week ago. That was last year. He wasn't happy because they couldn't get him the ball when he was wide open. So Luke Getsy's got to hit the ground running with these guys tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. The install, which I've seen, going on year 27, I've seen all the installs. The best one I ever saw was Gruden and Gannon. Some of the old-timers know Flores and Stabler. Go down the list. This install from Luke Getsy with Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, Zamir White, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Jacoby Myers, Devonte Adams, Trey Tucker, and this offensive line better be tight. Tight. Okay? We're filming it all every day at practice. We're going to look at the film. We're going to run the plays like I always used to say, run the plays like we do in Henderson. No, run the plays like you do in Costa Mesa and go with it. Whatever you decide to do, you want to be run heavy, I'm good with it. You want to throw more, you want to go 5 wide, I'm good with it. Just have it buttoned up. And there's going to be days, like there were at minicamp. There are going to be days where it doesn't look good. Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, the defense has a better day. Patrick Graham tells his defense on certain days, hey, man, they don't know this, but we're going big today. We're going to come at them. We're going to blitz. We're going to do this. So we're going to just, we're not going to hit the quarterback, but we're going to go after him. And they're going to be bad days where there's going to be multiple interceptions, balls dropped and all that. And we'll deal with that. And how does that normally sound? Well, it normally sounds like, the offense had a bad day. Someone goes to the podium. How come you had a bad day? We weren't sharp today. We'll be sharp tomorrow, and they fix it. That's it. And then everybody runs to the internet. Everybody runs to Twitter, goes crazy, and says, oh, my God, sky's falling. The offense isn't as good. That's going to happen. That's going to happen, and we'll deal with it on those days. And then finally, we're going to get to the preseason games. And we decided, the Raider Nation, and the coaches decided to put Derek Carr in bubble wrap for the last 5 years. They didn't want to hurt Derek Carr. Fair enough. They didn't play him. He didn't play in preseason games. What'd that get you? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? What's it get throwing a quarterback in bubble wrap? All right, who are the quarterbacks that I would put in bubble wrap and not play him in the preseason? Patrick Mahomes, he played last year. I think it was week 1 of the preseason he played. If Patrick Mahomes can play, everybody can play. We decide we don't want to play Derek Carr. Okay, how'd that work out? We don't win a playoff game in 9 years. These guys are ready to play. They're football players. They can get hurt at any time, any day. Now, you're not going to play Aiden O'Connell 3 quarters. You might not even play Aiden O'Connell a half. But you can play Gardner Minshew a half. And then you're going to throw in the backups, which is fine. Gus Bradley's kid. Give him a quarter or a half in one of the games. Fine with that. But these guys got to get reps. Their cardio needs to be up. They're playing at the Los Angeles Chargers and the Baltimore Ravens in the first 2 weeks of the year. They have to be exceptionally prepared for those first 2 games. So I just don't want to hear, hey, man, the offense is starting to pick up. The offense is starting to come together. I don't want to hear that this year. The offense needs to be ready. Needs to be ready sooner than later. There's no excuses. Aiden O'Connell's a good player. The only excuse would be for Aiden O'Connell if, God forbid, someone on the offensive line got hurt. Knock wood, we don't want that to happen. And all of a sudden there's just some drama in protecting Aiden O'Connell. I don't see that happening. I think the offensive line is pretty good. It's a pretty good offensive line. And then Gardner Minshew. Let him play. You're not going to show everything that we have, the trick plays and, what he can do, the double reverses. I'm not going to do any of that in the preseason, but get Gardner Minshew ready to go. And if those guys, the quarterbacks, play more than expected, that's going to be great. And that would be awesome because they're going to be prepared. And then when the games start, week 1 at the Chargers, you're going to see a completely different radio show from me. Completely different. I'm already sweating through the shirt. I'm so fired up. But you're going to see a show the Monday before the Charger game where I am going to be unhinged. I'm going to be unhinged, and we're going to get this thing up to speed very quickly. And we're going to go week by week by week, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on them no matter how they look in the preseason. Remember, that's the other thing. No matter what happens in the preseason, you don't know what's going to happen until the ball's snapped in Los Angeles against Harbaugh. But I think the team needs to be better prepared because under Josh McDaniels, he was a stickler to details. And from what I'm hearing from the players, and you're hearing the same thing, is that the players walked on eggshells. That was something you heard a lot. They're walking on eggshells. Why? Because mistakes under the Josh McDaniels era was magnified. If you made a mistake, man, you heard about it. It took up a lot of oxygen in the room. Like, you make a mistake and you're an adult. You're a football player. You're an adult. You're 26 years old. You jump off sides. You drop a ball. You make a mistake. You're good. Okay, I'm sorry I made the mistake. I know, and I'm an adult. No, these mistakes stayed with those players because they were walking on eggshells with the former regime. I think Antonio Pierce is going to be different. If you make a mistake, it's going to be pointed out. This is what you did wrong. Fix it. And that's it. You can move on to the next play. And I think the players are going to like that more. I think we saw that from the players down the stretch. We did. We saw that from the players overall when they were wrapping up last year and winning games and came up short of the playoffs. They played better. Their defense was electric. Defense was really good. And the most important thing is they cleaned up all the penalties. They were the best team in football when it came to that. So they had a lot of momentum going into last year. Now, for those who say you didn't make the playoffs, how do you have momentum? Well, then you don't know the Raiders. Then you weren't watching the Raiders season last year, which could have been a documentary on Netflix. It was very dramatic last year. Very dramatic. It took a toll on a lot of people. Guys lost their jobs, wives who moved here from Boston and New England had to move back. I mean, that's a big deal. It might not be for you, but it is for them. Coaches and scouts fired, people moving on who wanted to be here for the next 10 years. There's a lot of drama here last year. Now we're at a situation where it's very, very, very quiet, and now just get to work. But I think the work, and there's going to be days where they get days off. There's going to be bonding days out there. There's going to be some fun things that happen that we'll tell you about. There's going to be 2 practices here in August, right? Open practices at the stadium that are going to be really cool. And then we're going to have preseason games at Minnesota, and then the Niners and the Cowboys at home, which makes for a really good preseason schedule. Those are good teams. You put out Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew against the Niners and the Cowboys, their starters are going to be out there. Maybe the Niners won't have them out there as much. All right, topic for today. We got the Devonte bite. This is from Shannon Sharp's podcast. And Devonte's been talking about everything because he's on everyone's couch because of the Netflix series Receiver, and he was the most controversial figure, not because he's a bad guy or he did anything wrong. They just showed a lot of negative plays when it came to Devonte. They didn't show a lot of negative plays. Debo was hurt, right? Kittle got hurt in the Super Bowl. Justin Jefferson was hurt for like 8 games. That's a lot of games he wasn't there. And St. Brown for Detroit, it was very positive. He's just a great player, got a contract. It was unbelievable. So here's Devonte on Shannon's podcast. Here's what he said.
Tom Brady. Would you, Brady, how's Brady? Brady?
Hell, yes.
Oh, damn! You ain't let me answer the question. You ain't let me finish the question, Chase.
I know exactly. Hey, I knew it when you said Tom Brady. I knew what you said. Let me see what he gonna say. And then you got to talk about Odie is I don't care. I don't care.
You would take Tom in 47, 48?
58 right now. Hey, nah, Tom know about how I feel about him, man. And the other part is I think I'll be the first person that played with Tom and Aaron. So
Right.
that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's getting older, but I mean, he got to still be able to throw it better than, half these dudes in the league.
He
at
can
this
spin
point, so.
But you better be able to protect him because he ain't going to be able to take them hits better.
And he ain't going nowhere either. He's
No.
going to sit right there in that pocket. So you better have a nice, secure little home for him in there. That's for sure.
All right, so what do you think of that? They were just having fun. Tom Brady coming back and playing for the Raiders at quarterback. Remember that? What was it, Bobby? Last year when I was saying I'd go pick up Brady at the airport. I'd go pick up Aaron Rodgers at the airport. These guys are still around. Aaron Rodgers is still playing with the Jets, and Tom Brady's going into the booth. Do I believe that Brady could come in and play at a high level still? Yes. And when LeBron retires at 41 or 42, when LeBron's 45 and he's been out of the league 2 years, I'll say LeBron could come back and play as better than half the guys in the league. So that's a little bit of a sprinkle of Devonte. If you want to talk about Devonte, I hope we get him on from Costa Mesa. And our show, as you know, look at your watches, noon to 2 Pacific, 3 to 5. That's when practice ends. So we're optimistic that we're going to get some players on, some coaches on, and have the opportunity to do that. All right. So a little bit of an exaggeration today We have 2 games at number 10. Yes, I did it again when we picked the top roster of all time. It was 2 players at every position. At one position, I had 3 because we just had to do it at fullback, if you remember. And it was another position, I think it was corner. Mike Haynes, Lester Hayes, Dr. Death, Charles Woodson. We had an honorable mention. We did that. But I got 2 games today that I slotted in at 10. And then after that, it's clean 9-1. So if you're joining us for one of the first times, you can join us on YouTube, where I'm going to try to fire up this machine from there, and hopefully it works. Hopefully it works. Hopefully it works. That's not going to be my fault. It's just hopefully the internet and the Wi-Fi and all that's pretty good. We'll be out there. Q's out there already, I believe. Vinny Bonsignor will be out there, so we're going to have a lot of our lineup out there that we're excited about, and we'll do that. But today we start off at 10, A and B, and then we'll count down to number 1. And there's some unique games that we have here. It's not a perfect list. It's my list, with a little bit of an anonymous committee that helped me along the way. And we'll go from there. And then, as we always said, again, I don't need a phone call the rest of my life. I've taken more than anyone in sports radio. I really have, because I've been on 5 hours a day for almost 25 years. The phones have been dead all summer here because I'm not giving away koozies and I'm not giving away tickets to some pool party. I'm trying to do sports talk. I can get all that. And then ask for the 9th caller to call, and they won't call me. They'll just call Bobby, and Bobby will be pissed off. So let's get some people to wake up at the start of camp now. Okay, let's get some people now going. Devonte is a good topic today because Devonte is a trending national topic, and we're the flagship. On what do you feel about Devonte heading into training camp? I think that's a really good topic, Bobby. What is your expectations for Devonte in training camp? What do you want to see with him in training camp? With 2 quarterbacks who are not elite, are not being covered by the national media. What would you like to see Devonte do to get work in so he can keep his standards, which I believe is at the highest point of the league, up to par? 702-365-9200. The monologue brought to you by Golden Entertainment. Proud owner of PTs. They fuel the monologue. 5 to 7, midnight to 2, the best happy hour in town, and they own the Strat. Where on a cooler night, if you want the best views in town, go to dinner at Top of the World or go take off with the rides on top of Strat and have a great time. JT on a Monday, heading to Costa Mesa tomorrow to kick off training camp. It doesn't feel like there's any AC in here, Bob. Woo!
It's the morning tailgate.
Going over a pre-camp projection of the Raiders' 53-man roster, Marcus Johnson, tape don't lie.
Who were your 4th, 5th, and 6th wide receivers?
I like Michael Gallup. He can get over. He can win against the average corners. He can get it done. I really like Tulu Griffin there. I mean, it's going to be hit between him and TJ Turner at that point. TJ Turner is a gunner, but I think Tulu Griffin can replace him there. He's a little younger, and he's a better receiver.
The morning tailgate, weekdays at 7 a.m. on Raider Nation Radio, 920 a.m.
Finley Volvo invites you to discover the first pure electric SUV from Volvo, the XC40 Recharge. Volvo's first battery electric SUV is fully connected, featuring the first infotainment system designed and built by Google and powered by Android.
Hey, Google, turn up the heat.
With Google Assistant, Google Maps, and Google Play Store built in, along with legendary Volvo safety, it's the SUV you've been
What did I shoot this week? And I played just around with 8 guys that we were messing around. I shot an 84 at Encinitas Ranch, which is pretty good, from the Blues, with a lot of beers and fun, not taking it too seriously. So I'm in the low 80s now, trying to break 80. We're going to get there. I don't know why they skipped the Christmas game on Netflix, nor do I care.
CCCU has a bonus for you. High-five. It's 5% interest on a bonus checking account only available at Clark County Credit Union. That's 5% with bonus checking. You'll get credit file monitoring, identity theft protection, and shopping discounts. Because somebody's making money off your checking account, shouldn't it be you? Open a bonus checking account today and start earning your 5%.
Cisco's calling.
CCCU.
Thank you, Cisco, for the heads up.
By American Share Insurance.
Poor physical connectivity and high internet usage are 2 common network problems faced by most companies in Las Vegas. I'm Georgios, the sales manager at Les Olson IT, and we want to help. Our multi-point network analysis will identify your network's problems and offer solutions to improve its performance. This assessment is free for a limited time. Learn more at lesolson.com.
Les Olson IT.
Great cities are built on strong foundations. The skilled members of Laborers Local 872 never stop building. From the asphalt on our roads, the concrete in our buildings, the solar fields powering the economy, and everything that makes it work safely. Laborers Local 872 is modernizing the Nevada workforce and building a global
I do my
city.
best. I will get to you and give me about 2 minutes.
Nick here with Stefano's. Ditch the burgers and fries and go Greek. Stefano's Greek and Mediterranean Grill. With 4 value-wide locations.
Oh, it's really good.
Stefano's delicious menu includes the best tasting gyros, kebabs, shawarmas, and tastiest Greek salads, topped with our house-made dressings. Make sure to try our tzatziki and garlic sauce as well. Check out our newest location on Blue Diamond in Decatur. Order online or off the app. Stefano'sLV.com. Stefano's,
30 seconds.
1998. Real food, real fast, real healthy.
Hey, Jeff, how's the new job working out?
That really sucks. A terrible boss. My paycheck is even worse. I gotta get a new job.
Truck you. Truck you.
Oh, yeah, sure. Sadly.
Dude, you should check out your CDL training. My brother got his CDL license in 4 weeks, and now he has a new
Great. Have a good time.
Great money.
See ya. Take care.
Truck you offers small classes with night and weekend times available, and he will even help you pay your programs.
All right. So we're going to give you, this is why the YouTube is important. You get to know. So our 10th game of all time is a unique one, and you got to understand it. It's Al Davis's first win as a head coach. After all the games we looked at, you don't remember this game. You weren't alive during this game probably. But we wanted to put this in at number 10 to signify the beginning of Al Davis. Al Davis is a coach. So the significance, there's no Al Davis if he's not a coach. There's no Al Davis as a general partner, a commissioner, the Maverick, if he doesn't start coaching. Well, this is his first win.
The best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
It's a Stabler. Stabler game-winning touchdown.
All right, that was a Stabler win, game winner. JT back with you. If you want to get in, 702-365-9200 as we take a look back at the top 10 Raider games of all time. And this is interesting here. So as we begin, and we'll get into this, and I think most people will get what we're doing here and agree with this, but I don't think it's controversial. But I think it's a game that we wanted to put into the top 10 because it signified Al Davis and what it meant for Al Davis to win his first ever game as a head coach. So let's get to the throw as we open it up again. We are in the top 10 Raider games of all time on Raider Nation Radio.
We now present the Raiders' top 10 games of all time. And the Raiders have won the Super Bowl championship. They are the world champions. The history of the Raiders. The games that helped make the Raiders one of the most recognized franchises in NFL history. Just win, baby. The Raiders' top 10 games of all time begins now.
All right. All right, let's jump in here. This would be number 10, A, September 7th, 1963. There's no sound of this game. This is how far back we're going into Raider history. Al Davis's first win as head coach of the Silver and Black. Now, the reason we decided to pick this game was this was the debut of the silver and black color scheme, replacing the team's original gold and black colors in Raider history. This game was also very significant because without this game, and without being a successful coach, there might not be the Al Davis who we remember today as the Maverick, as the Hall of Famer. I think many people would agree Al Davis doesn't become the commissioner, the general, partner of the team, the owner of the team outright, and then eventually wins all these Super Bowls and is considered one of the top 2 to 3 influential men in the history of pro football. None of that happens if he doesn't come in as a coach, right? We all agree with that. Al Davis had a mind for football at a very young age. The Citadel, Syracuse, his starts around the league, the Chargers, where he came from before he came to Oakland as a coach. So we put this game significantly into the top 10 games of all time because he earned his first regular season win, 24-13 against the Oilers in Houston. But it was more about what the game was about. It was about a moment in Raider history, and if that moment didn't happen, we don't know where the Raiders would be. I really believe that. And as we talked about this in the small roundtable of people that I trust, everybody agreed with this. We weren't going to leave this out in an honorable mention. We had to find a way to get this in. And look, I know I'm not going to put it ahead of the Super Bowl and a couple of the other games that we have here, but there was no doubt that I wanted to put this game in here. So NFL Films talked about the rise of Al Davis as a head coach to the GM.
But everything changed when the Raiders hired a 33-year-old assistant from San Diego. Recognized as the brightest young mind in the game, Al Davis took this shaky foundation of a team and constructed an immediate winner from 1-13 the year before to 10-4.
So that was it. He turned it around so significantly that the league now knew Al Davis as a coach. And Mr. Davis talked about this later on in life, his vision for a team. What type of team did he want to put together? What did he want the Raiders to look like?
Someday I will build the finest organization in professional sports. I had the inspiration of 2 great organizations when I was growing up, the New York Yankees at that time and the Brooklyn Dodgers. We had come from Massachusetts when I was very young to Brooklyn where I was brought up, and the Yankees to me personified the size of the players, power, the home run, and intimidation and fear. They were very important characteristics to me of what I thought a great organization and a great team should have. The Dodgers were totally different in my mind. They represented speed and the ability to take chances and pioneer in professional sports. And I always thought that someone intelligent could take all the qualities, the great qualities of both, and put them together and use them.
I love that. I love that soundbite. I love that soundbite because he had a vision for the type of team that he wanted. He wanted the Dodgers and the Yankees combination, power and speed. He pulled it off. Hall of Famer. That's what he did. No matter what you thought of Mr. Davis at any stage in his life or career, most of it's great. He had a vision for what he wanted, and he followed through on that vision. One more before we get out to the phones. This is September 7th, 1963 at number 10. We have 2 at 10 because we had to get these 2 in today. This is the first one. Al Davis's first win as the head coach as he talks about the birth of the vertical game.
I had certain philosophies of my own, and that was number 1, what I call the vertical game. We were going to stretch the field vertically. When we came out of the huddle, we weren't looking for first downs. We didn't want to move the chains. We wanted touchdowns. We wanted the big play, the quick strike. They tell quarterbacks, take what they give you. That all sounds good to everybody, but I always went the other way. We're going to take what we want.
All right, so that's part of what we came up with today. Al Davis, we gave him a game because he's involved in all these games, pretty much all of them. You know, his handprint's on everything in Raider history, but Mark and Mrs. Davis being the owner since he passed away, obviously that it changes, but this was him as a coach, and we put that in at number 10. Chris in West Oakland, we get him to start us off on a Monday before we head to training camp. Go ahead, Chris.
Hi, JT. I know you're going to be looking forward to that cooler weather in Costa Mesa. And, as we go along this list, like I said before, it's open to interpretation. I don't think controversy is a good word. Everybody's got their own, the way they decipher things. I think from what I've heard so far, it's more of a most important games in Raider history, not necessarily the greatest games. I told you, I took it as the most literal terms, greatest games, which the Raiders franchise has played in some of the greatest games in NFL history. But before I get to what my number 10 would be, you're right about Al Davis. The guy had a vision. I've always loved that quote about combining the Yankees and the Dodgers, and he did. The Raiders were fast, they were powerful, they were intimidating, they were everything Al Davis wanted to be. And there's not a lot of people in this world that can say from the time they're a little boy, have a vision to do something and turn it into the greatness that Al Davis turned into the Raider organization. But my number 10, JT, as I said, in the most literal terms, the greatest games in Raider history, January 2nd, 1994, Los Angeles Coliseum. I was sitting down there in a great 80-degree day in January in Los Angeles. Raiders had to win to make the playoffs. They're playing the hated Denver Broncos with John Elway. Raiders are down 30-13 going into the fourth quarter. Jeff Hostetler and Tim Brown led them back. I think Haas threw 3 touchdown passes. Tim Brown had 10 or 11 catches for damn near 200 yards. Haas hit Alexander Wright on the final play as the clock hit 0 in the LA Memorial Coliseum for a touchdown in the right corner of the end zone. Jeff Jaeger went on to win the game in overtime with for 46-yard field goal. The Raiders went to the playoff, hosted the Broncos again the next week, and laid a 42-21 ass whipping on them. That's my number 10, JT, a game with playoff implications, one of the great, great games in Raider history. If it had been a playoff game, it would have been an instant classic.
All right, we lost Chris there. Right?
No, I sound like we got it. If it would have been a playoff game, it would have been an instant classic. So again, that's the number 10 on my list. I respect, like I said, I know what's coming in some of these games, but to me, that's a legitimate great game. The Al Davis game, that's an important date in Raider history, but I don't think in my mind a 24-13 win, that's not a great game. A 32-14 3-touchdown win in the Super Bowl, they were up 32-7. That's not a great game. That's a dominant performance. That's an important date in Raider history. But by my interpretation, it's not one of the greatest games in Raider history. But that's why we're going to have fun with this list.
Yep.
Safe travels getting to Costa Mesa, my friend, and we'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Keep checking in, Chris, in West Oakland. Yeah, I mean, again, important games, greatest games, most significant games. Take it for what it's worth. But that just worked perfectly because Chris had another game. And we talk about that other game, and there's a young Raider fan who's 12 years old listening today during the summer with his mom driving him to camp and heard about 2 games. That's all we're doing. We're trying to get Raider fans to understand the great history. Appreciate Chris checking in. 702-365-9200. The reason why we picked Mr. Davis in this game is it turned around the Raiders organization. Great, significant, relevant. It's one of the biggest games as a coach because if he doesn't coach this game, he wasn't a coach. So we got to start with his first game, and it was a victory. September 7th, 1963. And you can debate that at that moment it changed everything for this franchise as we look at the 65th year of the franchise. Coming up in a little bit, I got my tickets in the mail over the weekend. My son's waited for me to come home and open it. I'll tell you about that as we put it out. Cisco of the Black Hole right here. The head of the Vegas chapter. Cisco, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, JT. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm hoping you're staying cool. I know you shoot up and back and forth to the Bay Area, so you get out of this Vegas heat from time to time.
I try my best. But hey, man, just to piggyback on Chris of West Oakland, yes, that was a great game. It was such a great game. We were fired up in the Bay Area that 5 of my boys and us bought airline tickets last minute and game tickets and went to that playoff game versus the dreaded Broncos and saw that butt kicking live and indirect. But yeah, man, just wanted to touch on call in and just give my talks on training camp. Just like every year, let's execute. Let's be pride. Let's be poised, and God willing, no injuries. Let's get out of camp with no injuries.
Yeah, as we talked over beverages, over Modelo's, I'm getting my Black Hole read in and my Modelo at the same time on this call. As we talked about, we don't want to get anybody to get hurt, but they got to play. They got to play and let the chips fall where they may, because they don't play much football around here. The season ends January, like the first week in January. It doesn't start till September. We can't wait till September and start being paranoid about injuries. But you're right, not to do anything crazy. Let's get out of training camp with the roster intact and pretty much all healthy to have the best shot to win.
Yes, sir. You got it.
All right, buddy. Cisco checking in. Remember the Black Hole. Go to theblackhole.com and become a fan for life. Become a fan for life in the Black Hole. This is significant. So I'll say it now. I was going to wait till later. But my Raider season tickets game, they come in a box. Every year they come in a box. And you open up the box and it's the autumn wind and there's something cool. So this year they came in a treasure chest. I didn't know, but I was looking on my phone, so I knew. So I knew on my phone when I was at the airport coming home that I was coming home to this. So my sons wanted, it's like Christmas. Dad, open up the tickets. Open up the tickets. And we opened it up and opened up the top of the treasure chest, the autumn wind. There's a pirate map. And the tickets are there. So I start going through the tickets and I'm like, oh my God, it's my friends. It's the guys in the Black Hole and the gals. They paid tribute this year to the fans. So you open up the season tickets, Black Hole Rob's there, right? Violator, Gorilla Rilla. I don't have the tickets here in front of her. Raider Gloria, who I haven't seen in a while, from Oakland. Man, I love Raider Gloria. She's got her own game. So just much by the Raiders and their ticketing department. Obviously, Mark Davis, all this. And how many teams are going to do that? How many teams in the league are going to take a ticket, which is a gorgeous ticket, a memento, and put a fan on the ticket? Another thing that the Raiders do that other teams don't do. We all want to win games. We all want to make the playoffs. And from time to time, I talk about Snoop Dogg or someone performing at halftime or something cool with the tickets, or we have a nightclub in the end zone. And I know a lot of fans out there are like, I don't care about that. I just want to win. So do I. But you go through life and you have memories in life. So this ticket box that I get will go up on my mantle, and it will never be sold. It will never be given away to someone. It's a memento that I have in my Raider room, which is my house, for the rest of my life. I thought it was a really nice touch. Yes, Fabian, R.I.P. Raider Gloria. She's fabulous, fabulous woman. Very cool. God, I saw her at Ricky's. Must have been 50 times when we went there. So that's it. We have a couple more on September 7th, 1963, Al Davis's first win as a coach. If you want to call in, you can call in on Al Davis, the significance of him winning as a coach, and why you believe coaching played a big role with him moving on in his life as the Maverick. 702-365-9200. Our coverage of Raiders training camp in Costa Mesa brought to you by Tequila Comisario. A lot of their team is based in Southern California. They do a great job. It's the Ferrari of tequilas. It's the top of the list. If you're looking for a better tequila, it's Tequila Comisario, proud partner of Raider Nation Radio. Good.
It's the morning tailgate.
If the Raiders aren't 5-4 by November 3rd,
You don't have to
and the
get
trade
those out
deadline
every
is
day.
November
The
5th,
point is, we just
and will
want,
Devonte
you don't have to
feel
get
like
those
the
out
team is
every
heading
day.
in the
You
right
just want to
direction?
build them
My
up.
biggest question
Yeah,
is it
perfect.
going to be
Yeah,
record
yeah.
or is it going to be
Oh, before I
how they
forget.
kind of got there? You can still be a competitive team and not get to that 5-4, but it's still competitive. I think that's a different scenario than you're not able to reach 16, 17 points a game.
The morning tailgate, weekdays at 7 a.m. on Raider Nation Radio, 920 a.m.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
Remy Martin is the official cognac of the JT the Brick Show. When you're celebrating any of your team's victories, celebrate with Remy Martin Cognac. XO, VSOP, and
I still use my
1738.
AOL email.
Remy
You know why I
Martin,
do that?
team up for excellence.
Because it's the only one I
This
can
is
rely
Raider
on,
Nation
man. That's
Radio,
why everyone knows where to
920
find
a.m. The home of Raider Nation.
Backing down has never been an option for our family. Our father battled communism in Cuba before coming to the U.S. and studying law at night. Today, we proudly carry on that Castroverde family legacy. As brothers raised to fight for what's right, care for those in need, treat clients like family, we bring the very best legal team to fight for you. It's our heritage. It's the Castroverde way. We're the Castroverde brothers, and we have your back.
Yeah, I want to do the rest of it to the top of the hour.
Finley Auto Group is pleased to
Come out
welcome the
with that
newest
speed
dealership in the Valley
intimidation
Auto Mall,
3.
Finley Nissan Henderson.
You haven't
Looking for
played
a
that,
new or
right?
used
103?
Nissan car, truck, or SUV? Find your Nissan at Finley Nissan Henderson. Visit the showroom today to get the best deals and customer service
I
on
know
all
people
Nissan
are on
makes and models.
vacation. We only
Right
have
now,
30
save
people
big
in
with
here now. We
0%
get a
on
lot more on the
2024 Rogues
replay,
and
but
Altimas,
I
OAC,
think people
and
are
Nissan
still in
Versas
July
under
mode, man, to answer
$20,000.
that
Browse
question.
their full inventory of new or pre-owned vehicles at FinleyNissanHenderson.com. Find your Nissan at Finley Nissan Henderson inside the Valley Auto Mall.
Attention plumbers, HVAC, DIYers, and construction pros. McFadden-Dale Industrial Hardware has everything you need for your next project. Open early at South Decatur and Russell. McFadden-Dale Industrial Hardware, your one-stop shop to get the job done. McFadden-Dale Industrial Hardware. Get in, get out, and get to work.
Lynn loves the spring in Vegas, but she hates to paint, so she called Rhino Shield.
It is a single-wide manufactured home. We moved from our stucco home, which we had the Rhino Shield on. Rhino Shield was what we were going to do. That was no question.
Rhino Shield ceramic technology is formulated for our climate right here in Las Vegas.
The Rhino Shield representative came and we discussed what we wanted done. And this time we had the roof done as well.
Act now and you'll get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
You got the
Even
treasure
big people
chest,
that have
Tony. I
been a
like it.
little
Yeah,
younger
it's kind
than
of
us
cool,
have
you know.
that
It's kind of
they
fun.
don't have to
It's
worry
nice,
about
you know.
getting just an everyday
Nice little
painter.
memento,
This
you
Rhino
know.
Shield has the
And you're paying that
25-year
much money for a ticket, which is pretty
truly
expensive.
believe
We
in
all
this
get that.
product.
Here's Rhino
You
Shield
know,
Shane Smith.
nice
This
memento.
offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's
Formerly the
888-RHINO-41.
Seniors Stadium.
Don't
The
paint,
Seniors,
don't buy.
yes.
Paint your house again.
Corey says, what's the best camp
Boyd
position
Gaming
battle
is the
other than
official and
quarterback?
exclusive
I think
local
it's
casino
corner.
partner
I
of the
think
Las
playing
Vegas
Mumford at
Raiders
right
and
tackle is
Allegiant
pretty
Stadium.
solid.
Bring your friends, have some fun, but
I
always
think
bet
it's
on
gonna
black.
be-
Visit their 10 casinos
gonna be
across the
corner.
valley. Don't let the game get
I'm
out of
hoping
hand.
with the
Please
cap
bet
room they got, they get
responsibly.
a corner.
Tom
Cut
got a
down
new ride.
corner from another
Hey,
team.
Tom. Sweet ride. Thanks, Jim.
Hey, Tom. Sweet ride.
That's my ex-girlfriend.
What was that
Thanks,
corner
Marcy.
we got
Did
from
Tom get a
Indianapolis
raise?
couple
Did he win the
years ago?
lottery?
He played
Nah,
really well.
I just got a
Just
sweet
drawing a
loan from One Nevada Credit
Fog's
Union.
coming out of
Smart
my road
move, Tom.
trip.
Thanks. They have great
It
terms,
wasn't
low
a
rates,
camp
and an
touchdown,
easy
but he
approval
played well for
process.
us for a couple
All I
of
needed
years.
to do was find a sweet ride.
Get a sweet loan for a sweet ride at onenevada.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
You know, I'm talking about Baby in the corner we had from Indy. Why am I forgetting that name? I should.
Port of Subs fans, you've got to get the new Port of Subs app. It's so easy to order your sliced fresh favorites for pickup or delivery. And when you register for Port Perks Rewards, you'll earn free stuff. We're talking free subs, free desserts, and more. Already a Port of Subs app user or Port Perks member? Update your app to get in on the fun. Download or update your Port of Subs app before August 31st, and you'll receive a free small sub. Don't wait. Start earning
Who's
free
the
stuff
corner we
today.
had from Indianapolis a couple of years ago? It was really good.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the Black Hole. Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
It's number one to say you want to do that. It's number two to say that you have the players to do it, but it's number three to do it. To do it on first down of any football game for that defense that you're playing against. To know that the Raiders are coming at you, they're coming at you on top, and they've got the speed to do it, and they will do it. That was Raider football.
Yeah, that's Al Davis on the vertical game as we're looking back at September 7th, 1963, top 10 Raider games of all time. Al Davis's first win as head coach. Were there other games in the regular season in the 90s, the 2000s that ended in overtime? Yes. I didn't believe it was as great, significant, important as that. And there's a lot of wiggle room to this. And Chris in West Oakland proved it by calling in, you know, pushing back on that game a little bit and talking about another game that he had. That's what this is all about. 702-365-9200 as we continue on. The Netflix series, I'm getting a lot of texts from people. Hey, JT, I heard your voice on that a couple times. Yeah, it was nice that they picked. And a couple of times when Devonte came out, they had my voice on the pregame show or something. That was kind of fun. And I watched it, and you know, there was a lot of other play-by-play voices there and a lot of other sound in the background. But I knocked it out pretty quickly. I knocked it out in 2 days because I knew we'd be talking about it on the show. I didn't wait week by week. Kind of like I have to wait every week for House of Dragon. Like I watched the Dragons with my family last night. We love the Dragons. Then we got a week. We got to wait a week. I wanted them to give us the whole season so we can binge watch it and knock it out there. So we're heading to Costa Mesa tomorrow, and I'm going to be out there. Every week I'm going to be out there Tuesday to Friday or Saturday coming back. Then Sunday, Monday, I'm on Sirius XM We do Monday night tonight from Wynn Resort, so I have to be back for that. And then after we knock that out, I jump on a plane and go back to Costa Mesa, and we're going to have some fun out there. Looking forward to work, play, some golf, some cool cigars at night, some fun weather, and getting to know more and more people. That's what we like to do. These are the top 10 games of all time. Participate when you'd like to. If you're alive for the games, it's even better. Raider 66 is our resident historian. Go ahead.
Hey, JT, how you doing today?
Good, buddy. What's happening?
Great. Yeah, I agree in part with Chris from West Oakland, because there are so many great games, literally, that the Raiders have played. You can probably have 100, with overtimes and big comebacks and all that kind of stuff. But I am kind of with you, where you kind of have a mix of the games being great or being historically important, or some milestone set, like my number 10 game I had it with the 63 points because it was a milestone. But the great Al Davis and his first win, that can't be overstated. And I like that being on this list for that reason, because the Raiders in 1962, they won one game. Mm-hmm. In 1961, they won 2 games. They won 3 games total over 2 seasons. Al Davis comes in, sets the tone. The first thing he did when he took over as coach is he traded with the New York Titans at the time for Art Powell. Mm-hmm. He was a fast, big receiver that he knew he could attack downfield. And the other thing he did was, for the first time, I think anybody saw a running back running patterns downfield. Everybody used the running back in the little circle outlet passes, in the screen passes. Al Davis used Clem Daniels down the field. If you look at the stats, Daniels averaged about 20 yards per reception as a running back. That was unheard of. And Al Davis just basically took over and revolutionized the sport. So the Raiders, with Al Davis there, that first win was key because it set the tone. And they won 10 games in 1963, his first year. He won Coach of the Year. That was the largest percentage increase in sports history until, about 10, 15 years ago, when I think the Colts went from like 3 to 13 wins. But that was revolutionary what he did. And Al Davis just kind of blew people away. But that victory was a very big key in the Raiders' success. And the Chargers, I laugh at Charger fans because they always think that they've got something that they can get over on the Raiders. They had one season where they won it all, 1963. You know what the Raiders did to the Chargers in 1963? They beat them both times. The Chargers in the greatest season were 0-2 against the Raiders. Scoreboard. Thank you, Al Davis. Thanks, JT, for the list. Go Raiders.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for participating. We really appreciate that. Yeah, I think the significance of Al Davis has got to be somewhere it's got to be somewhere. And I think it's going to be really important to try to understand what the story is and how you put the story together. Go ahead, Bobby.
The one thing I took from the Raiders 66 call, that is true. They were a terrible team in 61 and 62. Mm-hmm. They got Al Davis from the Chargers. He came in here the next year. They were 10-4. He won Coach of the Year that year.
Yeah, he did. And that was the start of his path. Could Al Davis, he was a genius. Could he have been the Al Davis without a good start to his coaching career? I don't know. What happens if Al Davis is the coach and he's 4-10 and he's 5 and whatever and he gets fired and he's gone from the Raider organization? How about that? He's not even a Raider because he's gone. It started the path of him staying in the organization and gaining power in the organization to become one of the most famous owners in sports history. I think that's really significant as we take a look back here. Here's my friend George Atkinson and Mr. Davis on the winning mentality.
That was just his thing. He didn't have a marketing group come up with that for him. Those were his phrases that he came up with that he believed in.
Just win. Play hard. Try not to make mistakes. But don't worry about mistakes because there's only one thing that counts. Just win.
That's awesome. I really believe that's important for Antonio Pierce. It is. And again, I don't say a lot of bad things about anybody. I don't say a lot of bad things about Josh McDaniels. I saw Norv Turner this weekend at the track, right? Norv Turner was a legendary coach in this league, got fired as the Raider head coach. You don't hear me say anything negative about Norv Turner. No, why would I? These guys coach for a living. I don't. I do radio. They coach. But what Mr. Davis said there with George Atkinson, if you're going to make a mistake, try not to, but don't worry about it because you got to go win the game. I think that's part of the style of Antonio Pierce. Save that soundbite. I want to play that for Coach Pierce when we get him on from camp. I want to talk to him. That's a great talking point with him on that as we keep it going. 1 hour, that flew by. When we come back, it's our top 10 list. You're not mad at me that I got 2 at top 10, are you? Just more content. Yes.
I am.
Bobby's mad at me because it was more work for him, but we got 2 games today, and then Costa Mesa tomorrow will be number 9 as we count down. JT, good to be back here in Vegas. Hot, hot, hot. What else is new, man? Man, it's hot out here, but we're okay with that. We're brought to you by the M Resort Spa and Casino.
The New York Yankees are in Boston to take
All
on
right,
the Red
I'm
Sox.
going to do
for the
one more
weekend.
monologue. I'm
Listen
going to
in
get some
Saturday
water.
and
Be
Sunday
right back,
for
everybody.
ESPN Las
Chat
Vegas,
amongst
1100 AM
yourselves.
and 100.9 FM. Brought to you by Paul Paddle Law. It's not about the injury, it's about the recovery.
Gambler's bonus hits again.
Yeah, I'm wearing
On
the
May 24th,
Rochester
John
jacket.
hit
So as
4
you know,
sixes, clearing his Gambler's
collect
bonus
these
one-of-a-kind
shirts.
bingo card for almost
So if you got a Booster Club shirt
John hit big, and
that I
so
could
can
wear
you
on this
with
live
Gambler's
stream, I
bonus.
will
It's why you
gladly
play the game.
participate.
Your
in that.
neighbor Judy
And
loves
get in
Vegas
touch
in
with
the
me and get
spring,
me
but she hates
a
the
brand
pain,
new
so she
Booster
called
Club
Rhino
shirt.
Shield.
The house that Rhino Shield did for my husband and I, after having the house painted with kind of usual house paint, I was seeing cracks appearing about every 3 years and just wasn't very satisfied with that.
Rhino Shield ceramic technology is formulated for our climate right here in Las Vegas.
I can't speak highly enough about the Rhino Shield crew. They also were great at working with me to get the exact right color because I was very particular.
Rhino Shield is backed by a 25-year transferable warranty, and if you act now, you'll get 15% off the regular price.
I would not hesitate to call Rhino Shield, and I am just thrilled to recommend Rhino Shield to my friends and neighbors and family.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith. This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41. Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino!
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This is JT for the Black Hole, home of football's most notorious fans. If you're a diehard Raider fan, this is your home. Become a member today and receive 20% off online purchases, hotel discounts for home and away games, access to members-only merchandise, and much more. All memberships are now lifetime memberships. Once a member, always a member. If you bleed silver and black, visit theblackhole.com today. That's theblackhole.com.
Come see why thousands have made the switch to Finley Chevrolet, 215 in South Rainbow. Find new roads.
Findlay. Finley Chevy is a place to buy. Home of the
Finley Chevrolet has new extended weekday service, parts, and sales hours from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m.
Findlay. Finley Chevy is a place to buy. Home of the
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam & Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way. Because you deserve a team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam & Ash, 702-303-0333. Sam & Ash, because you deserve what's right.
There's plenty of fun out there. Find yours with Taos. This month at Finley Volkswagen Henderson, all new 2024 Taos models are eligible for 0% APR for 60 months or $1,500 customer bonus. Comfortable inside, confident outside, and with tech at your fingertips, Taos is designed to make your daily drive a joy. Hop in, it's a Volkswagen. Check us out online at finleyvw.com.
For highly qualified customers through Volkswagen Credit, see dealer for complete details. Offer ends 7/1/2024.
Finley Volkswagen.
This song doesn't have a name, but if it did, it'd probably be something about togetherness, because it's a collaboration, not between pop stars and producers, but between music therapists and kids. Music therapy is a treatment that doesn't involve medication or needles, and it's been proven to help children manage pain and contribute to faster healing. So it shouldn't surprise you, it's our favorite song. And just one way we partner with you for a life well lived. Intermountain Health, the power of we.
Sound off, Raider Nation. Join JT the Brick weekdays from noon to 2 p.m. from the most interactive talk show in sports talk radio. We are RNR 920 AM, KRLE Las Vegas.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
It's time for JT the Brick.
This is a Raider invasion of Southern California. I repeat, this is a Raider invasion of Southern California. So we get the Chargers coming off a 5-12 year. I repeat, because the last time we played them, we put 63 on their ass. 63 on their ass. Do you know anybody on God's green earth? Do you know anybody who said, I'm going to the window and bet the Chargers to win the Super Bowl? I don't. I know a lot of people. If you combined all the Charger fans in Southern California, you can fit them in my pool.
JT the Brick.
You hear this crap? They're saying, oh, the Raiders have this. They don't have anything. But the Chargers do. And it's the same jerks who say, I love the Chargers roster. Every year. You idiot. You know nothing about the Raiders. The Chargers, America's new bandwagon, had 5 wins last year. Lost Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams. I'm fighting off the Charger fans who think they're going to the Super Bowl.
And now,
63 on their ass.
here's JT the Brick.
Welcome back, everybody. It is hour number 2 of the broadcast. We're live from Lotus Broadcasting here in Vegas, our home studio of Raider Nation Radio. Tonight, you catch me on Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. That'll be from 4 to 7 p.m. And then tomorrow, I'm going to drive from the mean streets of Summerlin all the way to Costa Mesa, as the sun will be coming up in the morning on a beautiful drive and be out there for a while. And we'll continue, and we'll start off with Raiders training camp. And I think there's media availability tomorrow with the coach. Yep. And hopefully then we'll have some new sound, fresh sound. And I'm excited to be out there for a number of reasons. This is the hottest summer. It has been the hottest summer, I believe, on record, right? Am I wrong? It's felt extra hot. It's felt insane out here. And it's just good to get out of here for a little bit. Those who can't get out of here, we feel your pain, man. You're right. It's not easy. Man, people, especially the people that work outside, and the Raiders work outside. And that'll be a big part of this camp to see what they can get going, try to get this new offense in with Luke Getsy and figure it out quickly. Very quickly, LeBron is going to carry the United States flag at the Paris Olympics. Man, that's a topic. Now, that is the biggest honor of his career. If you look at LeBron's career, which is 4 championships, the all-time scoring record, he'll be in every Hall of Fame that matters, right? That's something. But to carry the flag at the Olympic Games, I'm good with that. You can say Simone Biles and wherever you want to go, Michael Phelps in the past. It's a high honor. Now, this team has struggled in their last game. When you look at what happened in their last game to win by 1 point, again, I was on a boys trip, road trip, golf trip with my friends. I was unplugged for most of it. But his layup helped beat South Sudan. Now, South Sudan's got a couple of good players, NBA quality players on the team. That ain't good. That ain't good at all that they had that type of struggle in that game. That's not good. Now, I would assume if you're struggling with all those great players, and that's not the rotation that's going to happen. You know, former Hornets forward JT Thor made a 3-pointer with 20 seconds remaining. Some good players on that team made some shots, which I'm okay with. But if you're struggling with South Sudan, how the hell are you going to win the gold medal? I don't know how you're going to do it. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in this Olympic Games, but I would assume they're going to win. I would hope they're going to win. But, man, that would be an absolute nightmare if the United States of America struggles and can't find a way to win the gold medal. Now, the WNBA, which is a big topic here in Vegas because we have the 2-time defending champs, when the WNBA struggles or beats the Olympic team, that doesn't get on my radar. The whole story there, which a lot of national shows are leading with, is why isn't Caitlin Clark on the Olympic team? Because she's just started basketball professionally, and they've been building these teams over the years. They have been. People are saying Brittany Griner, no Caitlin Clark representing the country. I'm not going to get involved in the politics of women. I'm not going to shame women. I'm not going to do topics on women. That's like the third rail for me. Why do I want to do that? Caitlin Clark should be on the Olympic team. She should be coming off the bench at guard or she should be a corner 3 shooter in a game where they're struggling and they bring her in. But the other gals have been preparing for this longer than her. That's a big topic overall. But back to the NBA. Oh, and congratulations to Albert Hall and the NBA Summer League staff. I went over there the first couple of days. I didn't get a chance to go on the back end of it, but it was another successful summer league. A lot of kids had a good time. A lot of kids were able to go to both those gyms, Thomas and Mack and Cox Pavilion, and watch quality basketball. So it really does well for our economy out here in a time where a lot of people are nuts to come to Vegas, and you come here for summer league, and it was a tremendous success again. So thanks to everybody involved there. The big story in the NFL is we found out that Jordan Love won't practice until he has a deal in place with the Packers, even though he's under contract. Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst said Monday, earlier today, before the team's first practice, that Love's reps informed him Saturday night of their plans before getting a deal done. And Gutekunst said they completely understand here. Love did report for training camp on time and take part in meetings and other training camp activities except for practice. Previously, he took the entire offseason program. He took part in all of it and mandatory minicamp for a $500,000 workout bonus. He wasn't going to leave that money on the table because he hasn't been paid a big contract yet. Now, we'll see what happens with him overall. Jordan Love's a good player. Last I looked, the Raiders beat him at Allegiant Stadium. He's not Bart Starr. He's not Brett Favre. He's not Aaron Rodgers. But the money in this league is crazy. So without a new deal, Love would have made $11 million this season on the final year of his mini extension he signed last May. That deal added one more year, the 2024 season, to his rookie contract. It was in lieu of the team picking up the 5th-year option on that deal. At the time, Green Bay gave Love $8.7 million in a signing bonus, and his base salary was only $1.1 million. In an era now where guys are making $50 million a year, the most recent quarterback deal was Trevor Lawrence with the Jaguars. 5 years, $275, $200 million in guarantees. At $55 million a year, right, we're talking about Trevor Lawrence and the Bengals' Joe Burrow are tied for the highest average pay in the league. The reason why Jordan Love should get paid is he threw for 4,159 yards last year, 32 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. So he beat Dak Prescott badly in the playoffs. He also started all 17 games. So why am I bringing this up today? Well, the Raiders don't have that problem. I mean, the Raiders don't have to pay Aiden O'Connell until he proves he could be very good. They're not going to pay Aiden O'Connell decent money to stay here and be a backup. I mean, Aiden O'Connell's got the best job in the league. He's got the #1 job with the famed Raider organization if he doesn't lose it. If he plays well, I could see Aiden O'Connell getting Jordan Love money 2 years from now if he's playing better. And Gardner Minshew, what a deal. He has the same numbers as Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has $200 million guaranteed, and there's only $15 million going to Gardner Minshew. There's not a big difference with the stats. I have the stats in front of me. They're almost identical. So those are some of the NFL topics that we're getting to today. Aaron Rodgers went on a podcast and basically said he went to Egypt, and minicamp's not what it used to be. Don't worry about it. Relax and all that. If you're new to us, we're on YouTube every day. JT the Brick YT. We opened up the channel to build it, and we want to eventually get to a big number. We're only going to do that if you subscribe to the channel for free. JT the Brick YT. And everybody just go to YouTube, click on my link in the bio at Twitter, at X, at JT the Brick. Just click it on, click subscribe, and you're in. And you get all the videos, all the reels, and you get a chance to talk to really good people during the commercial breaks, the people that are in there that are keeping the conversation going. So that's what we're going to do as we head out to this camp. As I said today, it was pretty cool to see everything I saw with the black hole, the history of the Raiders when they came out with their new tickets, with many of the fans there, one of the most important fans in Raider history. Raider Man checks in this summer, man. Raider Man, I hope you're doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good, JT. Glad to hear from you. I'm glad to be home, bro, man. Been doing my best to just build life back. And brand new employment out here doing my onboarding, so I've been out of touch because I got to do this thing, get this priority straight. Things going pretty well. I'm out here in sunny Santa Rosa, not too far from where illustrious Snake was leaning up against the jukebox and studying game film and whatnot. But I heard you talking about real quick. I'm trying to tap in and listen as much as I can. And I heard you bringing up the topics of the top 10, most memorable games. And, of course, there's a wide open slate. You can plug any game in there as far as Raiders history is concerned. Because they were all great, especially if you were there to experience them. But for me, I'm going to go a little bit selfish. I'm going to take you back in the middle of that 2001. No, it was 2000. My God, this time is flying. But the game that they call it the Ghost of Raider, we called it the Ghost of Raider Man game. The game we beat the Dolphins 27-0. I was back down in the black hole for the first time in a few weeks after getting my gunshot situation in December. But the thing about it was that game was the game that propelled us back into league contention. And of course, we had to battle a bunch of demons to get back in the playoff contention and everything. And, battling past in the wild card with beat Tennessee and all the rest of that kind of stuff. But to see us get into that game, man, and execute the way that we did, produce that shutout, and me and my weakened condition in there screaming my head out, literally almost probably trying to kill myself, just screaming because we never know. No day is guaranteed. I went all in on that game, man. That was one of the most fun games I ever been a part of in my life. We still were able to take the dummy in at that time. Shouts out to Harry Krause. But, they wouldn't let me have the dummy. But just to be there with all my family and friends, man, that was the pinnacle moment for me. Shouts out to my Uncle Violator, man. I saw the new tickets come out and get Grace from the Dime. And just want to, shouts out, congratulations to him. Shouts out to Uncle Gorilla and all the rest of the folks out there, man. Raider Man working his way back. Everybody's been calling in and checking on me. It's been real. I ain't gonna poo-poo it or whatever. I'm trying to make fun of it and trying to, build myself up. But, life continues, and I'm grateful to be here. So, everybody that's out there, man, keep Raider Nation alive. Keep it pumping. I wish I was over there with you. I'm doing what I got to do right now.
Keep doing it.
See what I'm looking at.
Hope to see you soon, Raider Man. Big part of our show and our history here as we talk about the top 10 games of all time. I remember that game well. That was the countdown. That was the blowout of the Dolphins, and important game. When I came to the Raiders in 1998, the first 4 years with the team, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, and 2002, my first 5 years were pretty damn good. I mean, really good. And I was blessed to have Raider rallies in front of 10,000 people at Jack London Square, some pretty big events in Oakland, to have my name in the black hole with the black hole. And that was good stuff. Those are great memories. I want to make new memories here in Vegas. It's time to make new memories here in Vegas with the fans. And I thought with these tickets representing the great fans of Raider Nation as they came out in the season ticket pirate box, it felt good. I felt like, ooh, man, I don't want to get superstitious, but I like that. Maybe that's something that can propel everybody this year, is the turnaround of the Raiders with the fans and the fans' faces on the tickets. At least we can dream of that. 702-365-9200. All right. Top 10 games in Raider history. Let's get to number 10. Our throw again as we open it up. January 19th, 2003, the AFC Championship.
We now present the Raiders' top 10 games of all time.
And the Raiders have won the Super Bowl championship. They are the world champs.
The history of the Raiders. The games that helped make the Raiders one of the most recognized franchises in NFL history.
Just win, baby.
The Raiders' top 10 games of all time begins now. Number 10.
Okay, this game at number 10, we had 10A and 10B. Okay, they had two here at number 10. The rest of it will be a single game. But we had to fit this one in today at number 10. And selfishly for me, it's the most memorable game of my time with the Raiders. There is no game I remember more, no game that was more significant. The Super Bowl would have been in San Diego against the Tampa Bay Bucks, but the Raiders didn't win that game. It was the game before that, January 19th, 2003, the AFC Championship game against the Tennessee Titans. I'll never forget the excitement. Normally, I would travel up on game day. How risky was that? What was I thinking back then? 17 years I commuted, 17 years to Oakland. And people thought I lived in Oakland. No, or the Bay. I lived in Vegas. And I was driving up there, flying up there. I went up there that Friday for this Sunday game because of Ricky's, and the place was off the hook. The whole city of Oakland, everywhere from Lake Merritt to Alameda, San Leandro, it was like New Year's Eve. And it was only 19 days after New Year's Eve. So people were festive. The weather was amazing. And CBS got in touch with me asking, I don't know how they did it. They called me directly and said that they wanted to open up the broadcast in the black hole. They wanted the broadcasters, Mike Ditka, who turned out to play a big role in my life, Jim Nance, and Jerry Glanville. How about that for a name, I believe? They were in the black hole, and we opened up the gate. I didn't even know there was a gate there. It was a gate that you can come from the field, and they put those guys in the black hole as the broadcast opened. And it was just incredible. Raiders came out and played one of the finest games in Raider history in a game where they had to, against a very good Titans team. Their ground game, Steve McNair was a brilliant player. They had a good defense. They were rough and tough. Opening up with the lead, 7-0. Here's Gannon to Jerry Porter.
Gannon with time. Lots of time. Throws, end zone, touchdown. Jerry Porter. The Raiders made that look easy.
Well, what they did this time, the defense covers everybody, but nobody able to get pressure even get close to Rich Gannon. Wow, what a throw. That was tight. Rich Gannon snuck it in there, though.
Janikowski's extra point is good.
So you can just hear the crowd in the background. Greg Gumbel on the call here and Phil Simms. And this was special when you think about what was going to happen in this game and what was going to go down. Now, Gannon had an unbelievable year with Charlie Garner. Garner was a great player outside I thought outside the tackles. He could run, catch a screen pass. He could take a ball, break a tackle. Charlie Garner, a very important piece to the Raiders' AFC championship.
2nd and 6. Gannon flips over the middle. That's complete. Garner inside the 5 in the end zone. We have a marker down. The signal is a touchdown, and let's check the flag.
Before the pass was thrown, illegal contact, defense, number 31. The penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
Well, now it's ruled a first down, but there was one official on the near side of the field that ruled touchdown, and now they say it is touchdown.
Big touchdown right there because the Raiders went up 14-7 in the first quarter, and the game was tight. Man, the game was tight because this game was going to be a game that I thought was going to come down to the final minute. It didn't turn out to be that way, but the Raiders enjoyed playing this game with the lead. How about Gannon to Jolly for this touchdown?
40 carries for 118 yards and 8 touchdowns this season. Fake to Crockett. Gannon lost to the end zone. Everyone around the league knows you get inside the 5. If you're the Raiders, you give the ball to Zach Crockett. So Gannon fakes to Crockett, and Doug Jolly is wide open in the end zone.
Well, Zach Crockett on the goal line, but Doug Jolly there. Doug Jolly was a really good player. But this season and the season before was about Rich Gannon, the MVP of the NFL. And Gannon, in the fourth quarter with the game on the line, puts it away with this run.
Gannon, all kinds of time, on the run, to the 5, touchdown! Whoever was supposed to contain on the far side, it didn't happen.
The defense is not even thinking of keeping the quarterback in the pocket. Rich Gannon, more active running the football today, and what a big moment in decision. When to run that time leads to a touchdown.
Gannon, 3 touchdown passes. He rushes for his first of the day.
All right, so that was a big deal for Rich Gannon. Rich had the ability to tuck and run as good as anybody. And he didn't do it all the time because we always kept his head up, and Rich would find someone open. He had just an array of weapons, a lot like this team this year. We have weapons, okay? We arguably, Jerry Rice being on the team and Tim Brown. It's hard to say you have better weapons than 2 Hall of Famers, but Devonte is going to the Hall of Fame. Now we have Jacoby Myers. I'm a big Brock Bowers guy all of a sudden. Michael Mayer, Trey Tucker. Raiders got Zamir White. They got a lot of weapons on the offensive side. To put the game away, No better than Zach Crockett, who was the beast around the goal line, and this was the end where the Titans knew they were finished.
2nd and 6. Zach Crockett, touchdown!
Tennessee was hoping that the Raiders would get tired and they could beat them in the fourth quarter. But what you're seeing is a physically well-prepared football team who doesn't get tired and is winning the battle in the fourth quarter.
That's great. So they put the game away. By that time, doing the post game like I still do now, I remember leaving the field back then, sitting in Mark Davis's box, the celebration with the greats who were around in that box, memorable, and heading over to the West Side Club for the post game show. That was 2 hours back then with the great David Hum, Artie Gigantino, George Atkinson. And, man, if you would have polled me at that point in time and asked me, man, I thought this was going to happen every year. It's arguably the last significant, iconic victory that the Raiders have had since. And I cannot believe I just said that. That's how long it's been. January 19th, 2003. We're in 2024. That's how long it's been since the Raiders have won the AFC championship game. And I thought if you asked me at that time, I'd said they'd have been 3 or 4 AFC championship games. And it hasn't happened. And I'll never forget this game. I got an AFC championship ring. It's one of the prized possessions for my son someday that I love. And to be a part of that experience changed my life for the better. So I'll never forget that game. We put that in as number 10 of the top 10 greatest Raider games of all time. I know many people who are listening today have memories of that game. Let's hear a few. 702-365-9200 if you want to get in. A post-game afterwards, give Bill Callahan credit. The way it ended with Gruden and the trade to Tampa Bay, we would face Gruden the following week and lose, but this was Bill Callahan's moment.
Bill Callahan, you are the first rookie head coach since George Seifert in 1989 to take his team to the Super Bowl. How do you put it into words, what you've just accomplished?
Well, I really can't. But first off, I'd like to extend my congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Al Davis, to our players and coaches, their spouses, and to the best fans in football, the Raider Nation.
Wow, I just got chills. I forgot that. That was when Lincoln Kennedy was holding up the AFC championship trophy, right? Lincoln Kennedy in front of the stage, big Link with the trophy over his head. That was amazing. And the crowd didn't leave, man. Crowd was there. The roar of that crowd just got my hair to stand up on my arms there to hear Bill Callahan say that. Rich Gannon, post-game as an AFC champion.
Rich Gannon tonight throws 3 touchdowns, runs for another as the leading rusher for the Raiders. And I think if anybody wondered about that MVP award, you left no doubt here tonight. How does this, your finest performance and accomplishments, feel right now?
Well, I'll tell you what, we have a great football team, and it was a total team effort tonight. But I'll tell you what, we have some unfinished business. We just keep our focus this week and go down and play our best game next week.
Do you sense how people around the country have really related to this team of veterans who've kind of come together? Some have been to Super Bowls with other teams. This will be your first trip to the Super Bowl, but what it means to go there at this stage of your career?
Well, I'm excited. We've worked very hard this year, and we've overcome some adversity. It's a team that's stuck together all through it all, and we're just real excited for the opportunity.
Good luck next week, Rich.
Very interesting. Again, this is the first time I'm hearing this sound in 20 years. Swear to God. Haven't seen this, haven't seen it on YouTube. I can't believe what I'm hearing right now. Bobby grabbed all this with the help of the Raiders. This is fantastic. Bobby got this. This is really, really, really good sound. That you look at Rich Gannon and what happened the following week. Barrett Robbins went AWOL in Tijuana. There was a lot of controversy the second week. We went from the high. I was a part of that on the broadcast team, went from that to getting boat raced and getting beat badly in the Super Bowl. So there's a lesson to be learned about focus, and there was no bye week. Went right from there to the Super Bowl, remember back then. Jerry Rice, the greatest receiver of all time, post-game AFC champion with the Oakland Raiders.
Jerry Rice. This is why you came to Oakland, I know.
Yes. I want to thank the Raider Nation. I want to thank my teammates because, we fought all year long. We fought hard. We just kept fighting. When we lost 4 games, this team really stuck together. We fought through it, and now we're going to the Super Bowl.
Jerry Rice been to all those Super Bowls and arguably the greatest Super Bowl player of all time, Jerry Rice, doing it as a Raider there. And finally, one of my favorite Raiders, Bill Romanowski, as I call him, RomoCop. And for Romanowski, going and 4 Super Bowls for Romo, winning 4 Super Bowls, one of the great linebackers in big game history, played a huge role with the Raiders getting to the Super Bowl.
Romo, you're going back to another Super Bowl as well. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd like to thank my teammates, the greatest fans in the league right there. Woo! Raiders!
Charlie Gardner.
Raiders!
Hey, somebody's got to take this home.
That's good. Really good. That made my day today, hearing all the sound. Great job by Bobby getting all the great sound. That is January 19th, 2003, coming in at number 10. Number 10 of the Raiders' greatest games of all time. Unfinished business. That was a dominant performance. And I don't recall how I got home after that game. Bart, I think there was a party at the Oakland Airport Hilton. Fans were at Ricky's. Fans were in the parking lot late. It truly was a memory of a lifetime. It was a memory of a lifetime. I hope we get memories like this. I know we're going to get them in Vegas. I just don't know when. I know we're going to get them. It's going to happen, but I hope they happen sooner than later. David in San Leandro, home of Ricky's. Go ahead, David.
JT, glad I found you in the app. I've been listening to you and Q all summer. That was my 22nd birthday, the AFC Championship game. My father-in-law was a season ticket holder. He and his friend took me out to lunch to Bancheros in Hayward before that game. And Metallica performed in the parking lot before that game. That was amazing. And I want to say that Tennessee, they had to beat the Steelers for us to host that game. We weren't the number 1 seed. So a lot of stuff had to fall in place for that game to happen in Oakland. I was a young buck, so I went a little too hard. I don't remember the details of that game. So I'm glad you recapped it, man. But you made my day playing that one. I got a lot of good memories at the Coliseum, and that was a special day. Go Raiders.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. That's why we did this, right? That's why we did this. And again, I have not, this is Bobby who put the sound together. I did not know this sound existed. Obviously knew it existed with the post game for sure, but to hear that again. So we're recapping maybe the last great significant Raider victory in a big game. It was, we've been waiting for the playoffs. The Raiders have been to the playoffs since that, but that was the AFC Championship game. January 19th, 2003 in Oakland, CBS Sports on the call. And that was brought to you by the DeCastaverde Law Group. Alex and Orlando DeCastaverde, proud partners of our top 10 Raider games of all time. As we go to beautiful Costa Mesa tomorrow. We're excited to tell you what we got lined up there. Thanks, everybody. I got to roll. We're going to wrap it up here on the app. Thank you so much. Tomorrow, hopefully everything clicks from Costa Mesa. Let everybody know. That's why we opened up this YouTube page. Thank you.